everybody, Tash here. Welcome back to the How to Renovate podcast. Today we are at episode 30, and in this episode we are going to be talking about something quite controversial. We are talking about, should you ask for other people's opinions when it comes to your home renovation project? Now, I know loads of people have differing ideas on this, but I wanted to give you some advice if you're struggling with whether you should ask other people's opinions or not. If you're not sure, I want you to consider these next questions that we're going to talk about in this episode. So let's get started. Now, I'm not talking other professionals here. We will touch on that as well. Or the other members in your household who need to live in the home and it needs to function for them as well. But I am talking about, friends, colleagues, the internet, your mum, your dad. Should you be asking for their opinions on your project? Now, if you haven't planned well and you're getting into the thick of your renovation, it's really easy for that decision fatigue to set in and the overwhelm to start coming when your contractor's asking you loads of questions and you don't have the answers for them. So at that point, it's really easy to start asking other people for their opinions, anyone who would help you, asking for their opinions, what they've done, just so that you can try and make a quick decision or try and copy what someone else has done so that you can give your contractor an answer so that you can move forward. So I can totally understand how it might be tempting to ask other people for their opinions. I mean, I'm sure you've been there before where you're being pressed for a decision and you're not quite sure where to go. But gathering kind of too many opinions on your project, it can add to that overwhelm and that decision fatigue and that second guessing. So in this episode, I'm going to give you some questions to ask yourself just to check in and see if it's worth asking others for their opinions on your project. Let's get into the episode. So the first question is, do they have a good understanding of your project? So this person you're asking advice for or their opinion of, do they know your vision? Do they know enough about you and your project to be able to provide an opinion? So do you know them well enough? Do they know how you live? Do they know the details about your project? Take on board the opinions of people who you know you very well. And even so, even if they do know you very well, do they know what you're trying to get from this project? And this is exactly why I make these episodes, I do this podcast, I provide all the information on my website, is to help you understand your own needs and what you need to get from your own project. So you don't necessarily need to go about asking other people for their opinions on your project. You need to investigate and discover what you require from your own project. So just make sure that when you're asking for opinions, that they're on the same page as you, that they fully understand your project and what you're trying to get out of it. And then the next question is, which kind of links onto the one just before, is, does this person know your household's needs? Are they in a position where they may have the same needs as you and your family? I would say what you need to do is discuss within your own family unit what your household needs are. In other words, why did you even start this renovation project? What does every member of the family need to get from this project? How are the changes going to make everyone's life a little bit easier, a little bit better? Make everyone function as a family unit better together? What are the goals of your project? Why did you go into this? What are your household's needs? And make sure that the people you're asking for their opinion have a good idea of what your household's needs are. And again, if they have a similar family setup, perhaps have a similar number of children or similar working from home situation, and then you perhaps can get some valuable insight from them. But just be careful who you're asking. Make sure that they really understand your household needs, what every person in your family needs, before you start taking on board their opinions. Now, I quickly touched on asking professionals as well. And again, I might be giving some controversial advice here, but I think that as a family unit or as a person that's living in your home already, you know what you need. And if you don't know what you need to really explore and discover what you need. You need to put in some time, really investigate what you want from the renovation. Why are you putting all of this time, all of this money into the renovation? Are you going to get exactly what you want from it? So you really need to investigate your own needs right at the start. And I would say, this is controversial, but I would even say do that before you get an architect on board, because architects don't always do that for you. A number of architects I've worked with, they don't ask the right questions. They don't investigate your life. They don't ask you how many things you need to store in all of your storage, where you want to have your exercise equipment, how you want to cook dinner every night, if you want open plan or broken plans. So really investigate what is going to work for you and your family, and start making your own sketches and your own notes and your own ideas, because every family is a little different. So you need to really work with what information you have so you can get the best plan for your home, for your household's needs. So that's not a dig at architects. I know that architects are busy. They often are not charging. They are often not charging for investigative work. That is more for someone who does what I do, which is a renovation consultant, who will come in and spend that time with you and really investigate your life and give you a questionnaire. And so all of these things is actually what I uncover in my upcoming renovation course. It's about going from the very start to the finish of a renovation project and uncovering all of your needs and doing all of the planning at the start before you start working with professionals, so that you know what you want. And then moving on to the next question is, do they share a similar taste and style to you? So this is quite a big one if you're asking someone's opinion on the finishes or the style of your home. So you want to know at least the people you're asking if they share a similar aesthetic to you. Because if they don't, I would say maybe find someone else who does to ask their opinion of. Because sometimes not quite knowing what you want and asking too many people's opinions and then making a decision based on those opinions, you can easily make the wrong decision and be really unhappy with the finished product. So again, I would say just make sure that you know your own style, that you have a master style board or you have a master image, you have your North Star of what you're aiming for, your vision, and that your decisions always go back to that when you get stuck. So that's exactly what those things are there for. So if you're moving through the project and you're not sure and you're feeling like you should be asking other people's opinions, really what you could be doing is going back to your style board, going back to your master images, and just kind of taking a breath, looking at those, seeing if what you're deciding on fits within that vision, and that should help you form your opinion, not having to rely on the opinions of others. And then lastly, the last question is, have they carried out a similar renovation project before? If you're asking for opinions on how to manage a particular issue, let's say with someone in the team, or hiring somebody like a tradesperson or contractor, then perhaps if someone's carried out a very similar project to yours before, you can get their opinions on how to deal with a particular situation, or whether or not you should be hiring a particular trade or person. Then if they have, then obviously that's a good source of information. But I would say if you're unsure about anything in terms of layout, style, material, if somebody hasn't really carried out a similar project before, then probably it's best to avoid those opinions. Do some research yourself. Again, go back to your style boards and your own research and your own planning, because all of those things will help you form your own opinions and make your own decisions. And those will then fit in with your vision for your home. So just to end off this quite short episode, I would say that just make sure that the source of the opinion is the correct one. Gathering too many opinions might even be a hindrance more than a help. So make sure that, you know, when you're asking for opinions, you're asking the right people, and also that you have done your homework, you've done your planning, you've done your style boards, and those really are the things that should guide your decisions. And if you need the opinion of others, make sure that you're asking someone who's done it before. I think that ends off our episode really nicely. Thanks for joining, everybody, and I'll see you in the next one. For more information on my 5-pillar process for successful renovation, you can go directly to southplacestudio.com/pillars, where you'll find an introduction to the process which covers each of the pillars and what they cover. We also have a number of other free renovation resources. Go now to southplacestudio.com/freebies. I have created some amazing freebies for you there. There is one on the process, like we just said. There is one on planning permission. There is one on kitchen design. There is another one on lighting planning. Go and check those out. There's so much free information there to help you with your renovation.